Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Today we're gonna wrap up V3 of the Fusion. Now this doesn't mean we're gonna be done with the car, but this means that everything that I've been stockpiling for the past however many months at this point will be installed today. We have a ton of stuff to do, and at the end of it, I will give you guys a full reveal of the car, nice cinematics and everything, because we've done a lot. The car is very different at this point from how we started, but nonetheless, still a lot of work to do. I'm really excited to get going. So when I first picked up this car, she was white with tan interior and stock 17-inch wheels. Now, she was perfectly fine how she was, but I knew that there was a ton of stuff you could do, so came up with an idea, and that was the first iteration of this car, to go for a monochromatic black and white look. So I started off small with the gloss black roof wrap, and then I ended up getting gloss black wheels, a black spoiler, swapping the entire interior to black, blacked out taillights, I converted to a dual exhaust, and I also got my favorite Mustang style headlights. With the good foundation set, I wanted to start incorporating some purple, as well as picking up some parts I'd had my eye on for a minute. So I picked up a 3D carbon front lip, a JMA Racing grille, fixed up and upgraded a ton of little odds and ends in the car, like the speakers, got a shark fin antenna from a Ford Edge, purple seatbelts, and the two biggest ones, I wrapped the car in Vinyl Frog's candy metallic gray purple, as well as getting a set of 20-inch wheels. Now these two upgrades definitely had the most drastic difference for the car, and with all the disassembly that comes with wrapping a car, got the accent pieces like the grille and the door handles painted black. Now with daily driving the car and the car being a little older, obviously there's going to be things that wear out over time and just little things that build up that you just never really set aside the time to do. So that is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to address all the things that were bugging me about the car, and with that, change the overall look again. So I made a list of things to quote unquote restore the car, and that was basically just going in and fixing what needed to be fixed that wasn't necessarily bad for the vehicle, it was just sitting and not necessarily being addressed. So I started off with the head unit, upgrading to the Tesla style screen, and this thing is probably one of my favorite things, especially for a daily driver. There were a lot of creaks and rattles with driving the car, so redid the suspension, lowered the car, sourced my Holy Grail interior from a donor MKZ. I added suede to the interior to match the new seats. We've got a new color for the car, and we've been installing various parts since the last video. So this is the car as she currently sits, completely drivable but not fully buttoned up yet. So we have a list of about 4 things to do to get us started off. Firstly, we need to install the lower grille, then we need to install the parking sensors, grab this piece that goes down here at the bottom of the bumper, wrap them and install them, and lastly, install the collection of under panels we have for the car. We do have a job for the interior. As you can see, we're missing this piece right here. Now all that piece is just like a little section of like foam and fabric, so it's just basically very similar to this piece right here. Now since I did the seat upgrade and I did the headliner upgrade in suede and everything, I do have replacement pieces for this, but I'm gonna wrap those in suede as well so that we can just button this up, because this has been a pretty consistent eyesore for this car at this point, but it's very simple to do. It's more just actually doing it. So I went ahead and started with the lower grille, installed that, grabbed all the parking sensors, wrapped them, and popped them in, to which I realized I need 6. And these are always sold in packs of 4 for whatever reason, so I had to put in another order. So as you can see by the mounting points being subtly differently oriented between these two and these two, these do have sides that they're specific to. At the top it says L1, which means the left side, so it's gonna be the right side. And then it says L2 right there, there goes that. And you flip this one over, and there's an R2 at the top. So those are the right side, these two are the left side, and this larger piece goes on the bottom, smaller one goes on top. That's basically it. And just in case you were a little bit more curious into how it hooks, it's basically just this little section that pops out from the opening. Picked up the corner pieces for the bumper, scuffed them up so that the wrap would hold it a little bit better, wrapped them and installed them. And just like that, the bumper was looking a lot more complete. So here you can actually get a pretty good example of the two colors kind of compared to each other. Also, getting those bottom pieces of the bumper on were honestly a lot more difficult than I thought they'd be, but we got them on. But you can see a good comparison between the two colors. I feel like, though they are similar, this is the much more saturated version of this one, if that makes sense. So basically, this is just the better version in my opinion. And little shout out to JMA Racing for those of you guys that might not have this crew and be looking into it. There's a pretty good attention to detail. This is basically just a hole, which is nothing crazy, but the harness that goes right here actually secures to that hole. So that way everything keeps the same mounting points and it stays out of the way. And now we're gonna do something that I've been wanting to do for a minute now, replace this fender well. As you can see, this one is a little dinged up and it also has some overspray on it. So we got a new one from Rock Auto for like 20 bucks. So I ended up actually getting one for each side, as well as an under panel for the front. Now the under panels are really easy to get off. It's just clips and screws or bolts that are holding it in position. It The only thing is, actually finding them was a little tedious, because most of the hardware is in view pretty casually, but there are some hidden ones that you do have to maneuver a little bit for. Really, it's just that all these pieces were a really good deal, and I upgraded the under panel that actually covers the oil filter, as well as the drain plug, to one with removable sections. So to keep everything looking nice and uniform, figured let's just go ahead and take care of everything while we can. So with the bumper just about buttoned up, we can now readdress the entire list of everything we had to do for the Fusion. So haven't checked on this in a minute, but we've got a lot done. I think the whole thing done, actually. We got the C-pillar rattle taken care of with the suspension work. We also got the suspension done. Engine bay cleanup, we did a video on that. The grill touch-up, I wrapped the lower grill because that's the one that had some damage, just because it was basically just taking on debris and rocks and whatnot. Adjusted all the under panels. Driver fender well goes with the under panel, replaced the windshield, and now we also have a new wrap on the car. So we can say that we are officially done with everything that was slated for V3 of the car. The only thing now is we need to step back to the interior panels. So I've got these old panels right here that you can see we already removed some of the little plastic welds. These are from my original tan interior, actually. They just kind of been hanging out in the attic. We're just gonna be taking this piece off, wrapping over it, basically like the same that we did to the headliner, and installing it on the new door panels. Everything's gonna look nice and cohesive, and nice little buttoning up piece for the door panels. Now, plastic welds for me on this car are pretty annoying, but this tool does make some really good use out of it. I don't have all of them just yet, but you can see once you cut this bit off, it just comes off just like that. So got a lot to do, but shouldn't be too difficult. That's like all of it, maybe 3 minutes. And here we go. We're just gonna wrap this, not really gonna do anything very special with it. We do have some leftover black suede and or Alcantara, whatever you really want to call it. We're gonna use that, and should be relatively simple because this just kind of pops in from the back, so you don't really have to worry too much about how the mounting points look. So I've seen a few places do it with like some self tappers and basically just secure it like that. I'm not sure what we're gonna do just yet, but that's one of 4. So we got 2 of these done, and we really did nothing fancy to these. We quite literally just put some glue and then some fabric on top and just kind of wrapped it over. It actually came out pretty good, feels nice, and it's gonna match the headliner and the interior, which is probably the best part. Good news as well, we have just enough to do the last 2, so we should be all set for that. Now all we need to do is remove the door panels, secure these in position, put the door panels back on, and we will be all buttoned up. Well guys, V3 of the Fusion is officially complete, and I'm really happy with where the car is now. A lot of cool parts, a lot of unique parts. Well, really mainly all the interior components are pretty unique, so I'm very happy about that. But if you're wondering why there's still a hole in the bumper, so this is not the right size. I did not know they had multiple like shapes of the tow hooks. I didn't even look at it, I just kind of ordered it. So we got to get another one, but the good thing is it mounts from the front, you just pop it in. So not the biggest deal, but annoying that it's another order I have to put in. But either way, the car is buttoned up at this point. I don't have to worry about little odds and ends and things rattling as I'm driving around because a ton of projects going on at the same time. So definitely a nice feeling. Also, big news guys, Fusion meets are officially back. My buddy Ken is planning a large Fusion event called Fusion Invasion. Really excited. Now, obviously, there's still some logistics to figure out and whatnot, but it will be based in Texas. Currently, we're trying to figure out the best place in Texas to hold it, so we're having a handful of meets just in various areas. The next meet is October 12th. It's going to be a cruise from Houston to Galveston, so I guess the meet's technically in Galveston. There is an event page on Facebook. I'm going to link it down in the description box down below so you can check it out. If you have any questions, want to plan your attendance at the meet, or even just see who else is going, it's definitely going to be a really great time. So I want to give a big shout out to my buddy Ken for making all this happen, because Fusion community's definitely been wanting something like this for a minute, and now that we're having it in Texas, definitely ideal for somebody that lives in Texas like myself. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one.